So we've gathered here again in the presence of Dr. Owusu Akoto, one of the contestants for the NPP upcoming November 4 National Delegates Congress. The aim of this Congress is to select a candidate for the 2024 general elections. Now, he sailed through in the Super Delegates Congress, but this time the Electoral College is quite big. Over 200,000 people will decide who should lead the party into the 2024 general elections. We're going to look back into events before the Super Delegates, events after, and then we'll look forward to November 4, which is just around the corner. The issues surrounding who qualifies to vote, whether the field is such leveled that regardless of the outcome, there will be no complaints. Dr. Fiye, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
I remember we had a chat before the Super Delegates Congress. We were quite confident that we were going to make the 5, and indeed you did.
That's right.
And now the bigger picture is ahead of us. But let's stay a bit on the Super Delegates Congress. Before the Congress, you had a lot of issues to put out. I don't know whether these matters got the attention of leadership, and if anything was about it.
No, I mean, when the elections came on the 26th, it was very clear a few days before that things were going badly wrong. I mean, practices which has never been experienced in this party before were being carried out, including campaign of delegates, and these are, we're talking about the top echelon of this party, where party constituency chairmen were gathered in hotels in all the 16 regional headquarters against the regulations that had been established, and then being bussed on the day in bulk to the polling stations, the balloting centers, and in some cases, from the reports I got from my agents, showing the ballot after it had been showing the ballot to their colleagues before dropping it into the box, which is totally against the constitution of this republic.
It was against the guidelines set up by the party itself.
Exactly. Even against the constitution. The constitution of Ghana says that the ballot is secret. And of course the party regulations and so on. And you had it in, I don't want to mention the names of the regions, but where we have the evidence that it was openly done. And quite a few of the regional centers had that going on. And plus, of course, you know what happened in Nararugu, where the agent of Mr. Trematin was brutalized to the extent of blindness and all of that. And yet, up to today, there's absolutely no record in the Ghana Police Service to show that violence, which is a crime, occurred at that location. So these are some of the things which occurred on the day. Things went really badly wrong, and there was definitely no level playing field. But in any case, the essence of that exercise was to choose 5 out of the 10 who had been registered to contest, and were one of the 5.
But did your camp file formal complaint with the party regarding some of the issues that you raised?
No, you see, matters of this is a very internal party matter, and I am of the opinion that whatever the provocation, it shouldn't be discussed in the open. We did a lot about it, complained to the hierarchy and all kinds of things, but not to the general public.
The disciplinary committee of the party, in your view, have they done well in terms of dealing with the many issues that came up?
I don't think so, because this incident, which became public on throughout the media and the whole country about the brutalization of this agent in Nararugu, the disciplinary committee claimed that they were doing something about it. As we speak, nothing has come out of that.
It's very interesting, and it's been days, weeks, and almost a month running into the next major election, and yet we don't even know the outcome of the investigation that they conducted into some of these things.
Precisely. So, you know, we are hoping that the experiences that we gained from the 26th, we've been talking to the Presidential Elections Committee, headed by a very reputable personality in this country, Professor Okwe. They are doing everything they can to ensure that these incidences are not repeated. But, you know, they are in charge of the paper, the rules and the regulations. The implementation lies outside their remit. It's to do with the Ghana Police and the Electoral Commission. So we are talking to them together, the committee, the contestants, the Ghana Police Service, Electoral Commission. We are talking to each other to see how we improve the implementation of the rules come 4th November.
But would you want the outcome of the investigation out before November 4 especially?
Well, I don't think that the outcome of the investigation coming out will have much to do with what actually happens on the 4th. I think that if there's that collaboration, admission on by all parties that things did not go right, and we are determined that this time round we'll make sure that things go right and that the field is level for all the 4 participants, then we wouldn't have any problem.
Okay.
And I see that as far as all the stakeholders are concerned, there is some determination to ensure a level playing field. So let's hope that we are for the best.
Final question on this matter, then we'll move to your campaign ahead of the November 4. And to find out, I mean, after the superdelegates, the party came out a bit bruised. The Alanche factor and everything.
Yes.
We have November ahead of us. What can be done to ensure that the Aland, issue does not crop up after November 4?
Well, it's to avoid what happened. I mean, the reasons given by Mr. Chematin for quitting the contest to start with before coming out to say that he's no longer with the party, those are very solid ones, and I'm very sympathetic to those. Of course, I don't manage this information the way he has done. I still believe that with a person like Professor Okwe in charge, that things can be corrected. So I'm prepared to give the benefit of the doubt and hope that everything will be all right. See, the implication of all this is the unity of this party. If we are not seen to be having a level playing field, after 4th November, it's going to be very difficult to unite the party against the NDC. And for me, that is my worry, that they to be seen demonstrably to having a playing field is one key solution to ensuring that we have unity. Because if people feel that they have not been fairly treated, how do you expect them to cooperate with the party after the contest when they feel that they haven't been treated well? So I think it's in the interest of the party to ensure that we have a level playing field. We have shown very clearly by the way we've spoken and so on. We've been very, very clear. That's myself and my team are very clear. We are selling a vision for the party and a vision for the people of Ghana. And that should preoccupy us. That is preoccupying us in selling to the delegates that we have something unique and something better for them. And that's the way it should go. I mean, it shouldn't even transcend criticism or, altercations between candidates or their followers. And in this regard, I'm very glad that our team has really conducted themselves very well. And I hope that it will be an example for the others to follow, so that after the 4th of November, we can all get together in a united manner to fight the election of next year.
Because unlike others, the feeling out there is that you've conducted yourself in a very clean manner.
Right.
Your campaign has been very clean, focused on your agenda to develop the country. So in the
party,
right?
The party,
I mean, you've made it clear that you want to make the party financially independent.
Yes, that's right.
Sustainable, modeled on the ANC, system in South Africa. At the Superdelegates Congress, you got 40 votes.
I got 36 votes.
Right, 36 votes.
You are being too generous.
you got 36 votes.
Yes.
But obviously, that's just like out of almost a little over 900 voters, which is like 2 to 3% of the entire delegates of the party. would the 36 votes is it enough to stand on this and say that the signs are looking good ahead of November 4?
No,
this time it's over 200,000 voters.
I will rephrase your question. The thing is that, first of all, how many people voted in the superdelegates? 958.
Yes.
And how many people are likely to vote in the election of 4th November?
Over 200,000.
210, 220,000. So statistically, there's no relationship. In any case, the essence of the superdelegate was to choose 5, as our constitution says. It's not to say that this one was first or second. So our strategy was to make sure that we are in the 5, and we are in the 5. So we have accomplished the objective, and this coming forth is a totally different ballgame altogether, because we are talking about 20 times
the number.
Yes.
So how do you respond to those who say that this clearly is a reflection of what is to come?
Oh, well, I think it's a misjudgment. They don't have their eye on the ball. If out of 220,000, you choose 900 and something to go and choose 5 people, and based on that you say, oh, this person is going to be first, second, and third, you could have it totally wrong.
But why do you think that it can change?
Because the delegates down there are totally different from their leadership. Their leadership have disappointed them. And
why
around.
do you say so?
Yeah, because I talked to the polling station executive, I talked to the electoral area coordinators, I talked to party constituency executives. And the party constituency executives, in terms of the numbers that they are controlling the constituency, I'm talking about thousands and thousands multiples. And they are supposed to be, in actual fact, they are supposed to be representing those on the ground. And those on the ground, what they want is not what happened in terms of the categories, even in terms of the 5 that were chosen, you know. So I'm very confident that those down there who have suffered so much for this party will take the right decision. And that right decision is to choose also Akoto as their flag bearer.
Isn't the case that sometimes they speak to aspirants, they speak to them in the language that they would understand, but they may not be sincere after all?
Yes, that is late also Free's
mantra.
That fear the delegates. Yes, and that's true. But the thing is that for me, talking to out of the 958 who voted, at least I can say that I spoke directly to more than half of them, to convince, to sell my vision for the party and for the country. And I was very sure that at the end of it, they bought into my vision. At the end of the day, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So Jose Freer was right, that you fear delegates. But in the case of the 220,000 delegates, I don't think I've interacted with even 10% of them. Except that you rely on the structures that you build to get your message to them. And of course, we are talking about 190,000 of them being polling station executives. We have nearly 40,000 polling stations. So we are looking at 5 at each polling station. There's no way you can reach even 1/10 of them. So then the structures that you have are supposed to deliver the message. And in delivering the message, we are sure we'll be monitoring the message that we've given to their bosses to give to them. And most of the time, having verified the information, they are delivering the message. And I think the message is very catchy and very convincing, that we want to bring fundamental reforms into the NPP. Most activists, and I'm talking about officials, elected officials for the polling station, are very unhappy with what's going on in this party.
Right.
There are very few people that you interview or you interact who will say that they are very happy with what is happening in the NPP. We are not in a good place, and I'm the first to admit. And I know it because I've been a member of parliament for 8 years in opposition in Kwadaso. So my communication with people on the ground who are working for this party is very solid. And I believe what they are telling me is the truth, which is that they are very unhappy with what is going on.
They're unhappy because of what?
All kinds of things. The way the management...
Or they are just not happy with the level of governance that...
No, with their situation, and also the way the party is managed. We have rules and regulations which say that if you are a party official, you don't define or come out to say that you are supporting this person or that person. And look at what is happening. The whole government, the whole parliament, the whole party, most of the party, people, managers and so on, have come out openly to say that they support one person. And it goes against the rules. So that alone should tell you that there's something wrong with our party.
And yet nobody is taking action.
Exactly. You know, we have a discipline committee, we have an executive and a council and all those things. Nobody says boo. And any institution which doesn't have that level of discipline and so on, then you are on your way out. And for me, I'm very unhappy with the situation of the condition of the party at the moment. And I'm very keen to get the opportunity to straighten things for this party.
Does it make you feel that probably this is a wasteful exercise and won't get anywhere because there appears to be, you know, that this has been decided that at all costs someone
decided by
must be the flag bearer?
Yes, it should be decided by them according to our constitution. The decision as to who bears the flag of the NPP lies with the polling stations because they are at least 90% of those taking the decision.
And has that been taken away from them maybe through monetary influence or intimidation?
Well, I mean, we are yet to see, but I'm saying that they have the opportunity. They are the decision makers. If they are influenced by whatever, I mean, people have died for this party. A lot of people have died for this party. So if you are going to follow inducements, whether monetary or threats or whatever, not to be able to speak your mind on the issue of the best person to lead this party, then you are letting the party down. You know, so I'm very confident that talking to the delegates before and after the super delegates down there, I'm very confident that they will do the right thing.
I've heard Mr. Mahama over the weekend. He was in, I think he's still in Canada, and he spoke about the need to take a serious look at agriculture because he thinks that it is the only way out of our present condition. Kennedy Japan has said same, others have said same, and you have the master key in terms of delivering on this particular sector. How does that make you feel?
But Mr. Mahama, I mean, I find it laughable. I was in Parliament for 8 years when he was in charge of Ghana, and you asked me what did he do with agriculture? He took agriculture down to the gutters, where at the end of his term, the growth in agriculture was only 2.1%. And all the indicators were going down. We had to come and introduce planting for food and jobs to pick things up, to build these new institutions like the Tree Crop Authority and all of that to sustain the growth that we have in agriculture. So he's the last person to talk about agriculture. His commitment to agriculture in his 8 years were sorrowful, I would say. So, I mean, my vision for this country, and I've said it for the last, since this contest started, is to use agriculture as a means of getting out of the clutches of people, not only the IMF, all the people who we owe money, because we've been borrowing money to develop this country. And for 17 times, we've failed to pay the debt, and therefore we've had to run to the IMF. The latest one is still playing out as we speak. And so long as we continue to rely on debt, we will run to the IMF average of every 4 years. I'm saying agriculture can get us out of this very sad situation by producing enough to export to earn us money, to develop our social sectors like education, like health, like the infrastructure, and even to finance our industrialization. So long as we don't have that, we are going to rely on debt, and the economy will go down every 4 years, that like he's done the 17 times.
Have you set the foundation because you were there for 6 years? Is
yes.
The foundation
yeah, that's what I'm saying. One, the interaction that we've had with the farmers to increase their productivity in terms of yields and so on is very clear. Two, building institutions to sustain this. We have the Tree Crop Development Authority, which is an act of parliament. I left another authority in parliament, I don't know what has happened to it now, which is the Grain Development Authority to manage grains the same way Cocoa Board is managing cocoa. And then we had on my desk 2 more, Agricultural Development Authority and the Poultry Development Authority. If all these institutions are built, are created by law of parliament and are given the freedom to operate by and managed by people who know how these things work, this country wouldn't be where we are. We'll be far away. We will have a lot of welfare and we'll be developing.
Okay. We cannot obviously, we can't talk about agriculture without bringing in one of the key pillars in terms of our export, cocoa. And I know that you follow the news on a regular basis. The finance minister last week, in an interview, said that they've set up a desk together with Bank of Ghana to supervise the finances of Cocoa Board, and he used the word to ensure discipline. And he relates it to the fertilizer and the cocoa rows issue, that cocoa boards need to be back on a sound footing. This is where how does it come to you?
Well, I didn't want to make a comment on what he said, but I don't understand. The Minister of Finance, Minister for Food and Agriculture, Minister for Trade and Industry, and the governor are on the board.
Of course.
It's only the governor himself who goes to the board directly. All these 3 portfolios, deputy ministers are there reporting to them. So what is new? He's there on the board. So what is new? Setting up a desk? I mean, the kind of things that he's talking about, discipline and so on, you'll be amazed at the amount of time I spent trying to straighten Cocoa Board and all of that. You know, in terms of their expenditures and all of that, which has gone totally out of hand, you know, and to the detriment of the farmer, because if Cocoa Board is not spending money wisely and is going on about, oh, we are supplying subsidized inputs to the farmers and so on, and they are not getting value for money, then ultimately you cannot pay the farmers more than what you can pay. So ultimately the farmers will have to pay for these inefficiencies and so on. And it really distracts from the financial benefits of growing cocoa. And as I said, this uni-crop approach, which we've practiced for 130 years, I've brought in new institutions to break it. There are 6 other tree crops, some of which have even much higher value than cocoa, have to be developed so that we can get more foreign exchange. Cote d'Ivoire, and I keep saying, 5 crops in Cote d'Ivoire, including cocoa, gives them $7-8 billion. These same 5 crops in Ghana today is giving us only less than $2 billion. Okay. And it shows you the kind of potential that we have between $1.5 billion and $8 billion.
And we are not exploiting it.
Yeah, yes, and this is what I'm saying. The initiative has been taken by me, and I hope that it will carry forward.
All right. Let's come back again to the issue of the Delhi, because that is the most important subject as of now, and we have few days to go. Your backyard is the Asante Region. What do you expect from them? The chairman of the region, the party chairman in the region, has taken a unique position already, so clearly there's no neutrality as far as the leadership from the region is concerned. But what do you expect from the delegates who be coming?
The delegates down there have no respect for the conduct of the regional chairman. And his impression that he creates, that he is in charge of the delegates, will be proven on the 4th of November. Whether the kind of percentage that his candidate got will be repeated down there is still something that we have to wait for. But I'm confident that the message I've given to the people of Ashanti and to the rest of this country. The delegates know that this is the man. And let's look at a track record.
Right.
I mean, my 6 years in charge of the sector, working with farmers, farmers appreciate what I did for them because they are the only ones who know the benefits they got from my management of the sector. And it's reflected in their performance that 2021, growth in the agricultural sector was 8.4%. Go through the records from 1992 in this Fourth Republic. You will never see anything near 8.4%